So welcome to my wedding journal video. Johanne speaking. Here's a quick little flip through of Mrs. Z's wedding album. I'm doing this with an altered book. This is my first altered book, and I am finding this to be quite a challenge. I do like challenges. I'm finding that this is going to be a long process that is going to be hard for me to shrink down into a little video. So I'm going to do a lot of small little clips and then group them all together to hopefully make sense and add interest to making, start to finish, an altered book with the flip through at the end. So please join me, and if you like it, subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Let's go. Just come right through there. See that? Easy peasy. Now I have a certificate for a master seamstress. I did that 20 years ago. And I'm going to tell you, sewing buttons is my least favorite thing. Maybe that's why I'm not crazy about binding. When it's done, I like it, but it just wiggles all around on me. But I think I'm getting better. Just a little ink here and there. There we go. That one is very simple, but I like it. So I'm going to take this lace and I'm going to cut it twice the width of the bottom of the page that I want it to go in. So I have crackling fire going on behind me, and I'm doing a voiceover. So I tried some gauze, and I tried this really pretty trim that I got at Hobby Lobby, because my friend, who's going to be the recipient of this journal, she couldn't wait to get her ring. And it was all about the ring for her a lot of years. And I wanted to just bling it up here. I'm trying to find out if I want to put this on the bottom, and added some coffee dyed gauze, and trying to ruffle it and scrunch it and do what we do when we do a journal. We just keep trialing. I call it trialing because I'm trying it out. And I'm looking and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm covering up the rings. I can't cover up the rings. That's her favorite part. So I go to plan B. I use some Tim Holtz packaging to back this keepsake paper. And I thought it looked pretty nice. I didn't have to do that much to it either. I mean, tiny little bit of ink at the edge, cut it to the right size, and it was a nice backing for this flimsy paper. That's the problem that I had with, even though I was gluing the papers together using Mod Podge, it wasn't thick enough, really, for me, for my liking. That's why I like the scrapbook. Go through my pages, pick out the colors, and then just put it together. And then fight with the binding after. But this part here, going back to this, I'm using that as a backing and packaging, hence junk journal. worked out pretty nicely. And I liked working with my gloves and pretending I was finger painting because I didn't get to go to kindergarten. I didn't get to finger paint. They put me right into first grade. I missed finger painting. That was a bummer. But this was fun. And, the only part was waiting for this to dry. I did use my heat gun a few times, but oh, the pages in this journal wrinkled so much. I was using Mod Podge, I was using Fabri-Tac, and another glue called Aqua from Michaels. No matter what I used, the papers would just be wrinkly after they dried. I really don't know what to use in America, um, USA, like what the best glue is for not, um, wrinkling up the pages. These pages, some of them were very wrinkly and stiff as a board. I had to like scrunch them. So this is what I ended up doing with my scrunched up. Oh, there's that glue that I was just talking about. Sorry, I guess I skipped right over that. I cut out a lot of that. So we're moving on anyways. We're moving on using my nice ruler from my thrift store. This is coffee dyed. I took some scrapbook paper and coffee dyed it to give it that antique look. But again, it turned it into like very stiff paper to be working with. So that was a challenge for me. I glued it down and hoped for the best. Afterwards, I took the paper and I just kind of like scrunched it up a bit to make it a little more pliable because don't want a journal that's like stiff as a board. I want it to be, you turn the pages and find it pleasant. I turned this into a pocket here and I let that glue dry. And kept my desk a mess for this video. So I'm in this journal, this wedding journal, and I'm feeling like it's kind of boring. Not sure what I'm gonna do, but I found this note that my husband wrote to me. Joanne, I can do without many things in this life and make do with others, but you're the one thing I cannot do without and would trade everything I have for. I love you, Jack. Yep, 41 years on Valentine's Day. 41 easy years? No. 41 hard years, but worth it all. I found this December calendar in a little pocket thing that I cut out, and I cut out the so I got out my gold pen and circled the date that they were married, and then just put their initials in gold on each side of the calendar. And when she looked at it, she did note, the initials, so that was sweet. Yeah, I put a Z on the top, way in the top. That's their last name. I just covered it up with my hand, but I sewed that in before I put the papers in. I was trying to be creative, but I couldn't get any more than that. That's that's all I could come up with. It's hard sometimes when you feel like you're running out of creativity, but you just got to keep going. So that's what I did, and let that dry. Now for the cover, the dreaded cover. So I first cut out a piece of fabric after watching a bunch of videos that said just cut out a half of an inch all around the outside of the book. I did that. I tried it. There wasn't enough to work with. So I recut another piece of fabric. Thankfully, I had another piece and started with my gluing process. Oh, there's my tea. Had to have a cup of tea. Had to have a tea break. So getting the book, placing the book down on the fabric, and trying to decide how to do these mitered corners. I saw a couple of videos, again, that did things differently than I did, and they made their corner, instead of going straight across on a diagonal, they cut out a little bite like that. So I tried it. I don't know. The red showed on, from the book, showed, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use that again. I think I'm going to go back to my own where I just cut diagonally. Using a lot of this 3-in-1, also known as Fabri-Tac. They smell the same. Actually, no, they don't smell the same. I did not like the smell of that 3-in-1. It sounds really gross, but that 3-in-1 smells like the inside of like a garage bathroom. Like the cleaning stuff that they use. It just smelled horrible. Thankfully, after it dried, the odor went away, but it took away my fingernail polish too. But, I did not like the smell of that, so I'm going to use that up and be done with that. I'm definitely going to go with some art glitter glue. Does art glitter glue have glitter in it, or is that just the name of it? Wonder if anybody that's does junk journals could leave that below and let me know. Does it have glitter in it? I only have seen it on TV, well, TV, YouTube, other people using it. But so using this glue all around the edges, again, I made the mistake of backing that last page before I glued the cover on. Yeah, and this glue doesn't like to come out of the bottle either. It's a pain. But anyways, it does hold well. I will give it that. And I like these clips. They're not as big as they don't open as wide as the one that my husband had given me originally, but they do. They are an extra pair of hands, which is good. So this really turned out pretty chunky. So now to get that flap in at the binding. So what I'm going to do is, I think you'll see it if I didn't cut it all out. I'm going to glue the spine, and then the flap at the binding or the spine, you just you cut a tab, and then you stuff it down into the spine. And there you can see my nail polish is sporting a new look, thanks to the glue. Thanks to me not remembering to put my gloves on. My own fault. Lots of glue going on here, and it's necessary to hold this. I think it's damask. I think that's how you say it. Fabric. It's really pretty fabric. I love this little brayer. It just smooths it all out for me. Because I got this thing about listening to, it's like I can handle chalkboard scratches, but like fingernails going across or something scraping across cotton fabric, oh, it just does something to me. So that brayer just works out great for me. Okay, so we got the other side to do, and that is the same as the first side. Getting off those little loose threads, and I will glue that down. So here we are on the other side, gluing this down. I left it fat like that because I had some ideas of for decorating. So could have made it thinner, but now here's where I'm talking about. You cut this tab right here, right in front of the spine. Okay, it helps you to lay down that piece on the cover, and it sets you up for smoothing and hiding that um, place where the spine is, because you can't just you don't have anywhere to roll it, or but you do have a little area to tuck it in. So we're gluing this down. We're cutting a flap in front of the spine, and then we're gonna glue down the rest of those extra flaps. There we go. A little bit of red showing, but we'll take care of that later. Now this is the trick. You take your glue and you're gonna glue this flap and stuff it inside of that spine. And make sure you put enough glue in there. I put like on the outside and then I put some inside there. And then it makes such a nice soft finish. I ended up using the paper clip because it just stuffed it in there nicely for me. And that was kind of the best part of covering this book, because the rest of it was a little bit, for me, it was a little challenging. Yes, it's my first one, so anything you do the first time is gonna be a challenge, but I still like doing my other covers better, I think. Maybe if I do a few more, but I'm gonna give myself a break for now. But that's that. And it looks actually pretty good, I have to say. I mean, I'll cover up the red and with lace and stuff, but for now, I think I like how it looks. So let's decorate the cover. Here's some lace. First, I like to place the lace on, move it around, look at it a few times. I know I have to cover up that red, so I will just move it around and kind of trial. And I like how this looks. I like that scalloped. I just love that. Okay, so now I'm going to cut around here and get rid of the excess so it doesn't hinder my gluing process. And this, oh, forgot to turn the light on. I get busy and I forgot to turn on my studio light and turn off my phone. Oh, that's my friend. She's calling me back, texting me back. She said she would come over tonight to pick up the journal. So I'm in a hurry now. I'm trying to get this done. I had an appointment in between trying to finish this, so I text her about 2:30 and asked her if she wanted to come over tonight to pick it up. And she said, "Sure. How about between 5:30 and 6?" And then I had an appointment at between 3 and 4, a teleconference. Um, and before I knew it, when I got done with the conference, it was a little after 4 and my husband was home. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh no, I have an hour and a half to finish this. So I started like panicking, and because I didn't have completely what I wanted to do, I got out my fabrics. This is one of the fabrics that I thought I would add to it to jazz up that cover. And yeah, I was just going a little panicky at trying to get this cover fixed. So getting this glued down, got that glued down. So moving along to the top, I took a paper, I put their last name, the initial, and then I glued part of that fabric that I cut up and the beads were going everywhere because when you cut them, the stitching falls out. So I had to cover over the lace. The lace was like a barrier to keep those pearls inside. So I laced under it, and then I had to lace over it. And you live and learn, I guess.
So this place is a total disaster. I told my friend to come over and pick up her surprise, and I don't even have it ready. So now I'm scrambling really fast. I just sent her away. She's gonna go shopping. It's 10 past 6. She's gonna go grocery shopping, and then she said she's gonna come back. So I just coffee dyed something and I stuck it in the dryer.
So now I made sure I put the closure in. I have to glue these papers down that just don't seem to want to stay down. So using the other end of the bone folder is better because then it doesn't poke through your thin papers, and use that 3-in-1 glue and get I was thinking about those spots and hope they'll go away, because even though I use a heated dryer on it, they were still kind of showing up. So again, in the back, gluing down, and just keep looking at it to make sure that it's the way I want it. And then now I will embellish and cover up some of those areas and decorate at the same time in the front. Yeah, I've got lots of lace. I coffee dyed this really quick and used the heater on it. And I think I like that up on the top. It adds a nice wedding element on the top. So here we go with some more glue. We'll glue that down, and then each time, we have to let it dry, and that does dry faster, but I do not like the smell of it. Do not like the smell of this glue at all. So I will be moving on to glitter glue. I think I already said that, but yeah, but I need to use it up first because we don't like to waste things. That's why we are junk journal recyclers, right? I'll get my handy dandy clips. Still trying to make sure I get that red all the way covered. Yeah, it's like a frosting on a cake. You just keep adding the frosting, or add a flower here or add a flower there when you see a spot that doesn't look good. Yep, that's my old cake decorating skills coming out. So now we have that pretty pink lace with the beads on it, and we're going to glue that on. And I'm going really fast because I need to get this done, but sometimes the faster you go, the more mistakes, and you can't think ahead as good as you could if you had time to think. Sometimes thinking takes a while too. You use up all the time to think, and then you don't get anywhere. So
not positive, Joanne, so get back on the positive track. Okay, here we go. Positive. Positively, this is going to be cool. I love giving things away. And she didn't ask me for this. She doesn't know. And that's what makes it so special. It is so much better to give than receive. When you give, you do receive. You just receive such a blessing when you give. There.
I'm liking how this looks. I'm trying to add a few more elements just to make it a little dressier. And I had some ideas in mind. I have this pin that I bought, and I'm trying to find it. I bought it at my thrift store, and I know it's here somewhere. So I'm poking through everything. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Okay. So it's a little bulky, so I got to get the back of it off in order for it to lay flat, because I want it to lay flat. How am I going to do that? You know, I'll just rip it right off. Yeah, it worked. I was watching this woman the other day, and she was using Mod Podge to lay everything down on her art piece, and it was three-dimensional. And I thought about that, but didn't have time to dig it out. On a real time crunch here, and so I'll get that 3-in-1 glue and make sure I got it in the right position. That looks good. And I will put this beautiful pearl pin right on the front and add another piece, another layer of goodness to this pretty journal. That little pearl there looks good, but I think I want to add a couple more little pearls, because one little pearl there just didn't make it. I wanted to put this on, but I didn't know if I wanted to mix the gold with the silver, because her ring is actually platinum gold, which looks more silver to me, even though it's gold. I mean, it's white gold. So I'll try to see where I can put that. But in the meantime, let's work with these pearls and just put those little pearls on there. I kind of like that. Yeah, so that's good. That's good. A little glue, a little fingernail polish. It's homemade, right? Okay, that's looking good. Now let that dry. Okay.
So I am done. This is take 2. I will show you the front. And I coffee dyed this real quick with some espresso, and then I threw it in the dryer to dry it. And then when I put it on, I used the heat gun, but the heat gun brought out this dark coffee look, which I'm hoping she's going to appreciate, because I like vintage, but I hope she does too. So, some pretty ribbons. Let's see what we have inside. This sticker is not my usual. I usually don't put stickers in journals, but I was in a time crunch and I don't have my nails done either, so disclaimer right off, so I'm not going to apologize for that anymore. That's what acetone does to your hands, which is in the glue. This is a former purse. Yep. I did a little bit of sewing. I really miss doing the sewing, because when you're doing an altered book, it's hard to manipulate the book around the sewing machine. So I did some stamping on here, as you can see, a little gauze and ephemera, and this from packaging. This is from a 1960s book, and these are some digitals that I picked up on Etsy. Her name is Terry, and I imagine this being her husband. I'm just pretending. I like the sewing, how it shows up in the back there. I kept it. This is it's a tip chart. Because they go out a lot, I just threw it in there. Whether they use it, it doesn't matter. I just thought it was a nice piece of ephemera. And there's a nice digital that I purchased from, I think it was Dottie's. So she will be coming over any minute now. The doorbell will ring and she'll be here to pick it up. This is their marriage date. This is a nice little pocket with, I did have some things to put in there. I think I took them out when I was tossing it around with my gluing. With a lifetime of family vacations ahead. She couldn't wait to get her ring. She's been wanting her ring forever, so I had to put this jewel touch in there in this ring. And actually one of her rings, one of these rings looks like hers. I think it's that one. But I thought that was so special. Couldn't wait for her to get her ring. And nice journal spot in a pocket with some, this is her favorite color. I didn't put it in the journal a lot because I didn't think of it actually. And we have to reveal my signature. Brad's Boots. There's a few other cards in here that I've sewn and left for her to journal on. I had planned on making a card for her to lean against to journal on, but I ran out of time. So that's her and her husband's initials and their wedding date. I found this in my recycling bin. That's their marriage certificate copy. That's obviously blurred. I just found this piece of ephemera and just stuck it in there. Not a lot of book jewelry because it's just filled with so many other things. That's her getting ready for her wedding day. Pretend. Thought this was appropriate. Journaling spot. And then I put this little stamp on each of the right side. It's just a little heart book with 2 hearts on it. This is cute. This kind of peeks out, and there's more cards that I've made for journaling. This is a cute little music sheet from a 1960s book. This I used my pen. There it is. That's, you can see that better now. This is a little corny. I don't know what the word is. It's out of your elements for a vintage book, but they love Disney. So I had to put this in here somewhere. So this is a journaling spot for her. And she loves, I taught her how to make pies, apple pie. I gave her my apple pie recipe. And so this is kind of like a little sweet joke between the two of us. And this is her husband's side. And I thought I had to stick this in there. And there's a few little music verses here that are appropriate for this, such as till we meet tomorrow. You know, just some sweet little verses. So it's black and white, but it does, lost and found. What does that mean? Well, they were together when they were younger, when they were teenagers, and her mom didn't want her to get married, or let's see, not get married. I'm trying to remember the story. Her mom thought he was too old for her. So they went all about their business and they had children, and then things happened and now they're back together. I don't know how many years later. I would be misquoting if I quoted, but a lot of years later. So they were lost, but now they're found, and they just are two newlyweds in love. And here we have another pocket. I just imagine that being her as a child. Cute little curly-haired girl. And we have a little pocket here for something special. And this is Florida because this is their favorite place to go. and some stamping. Some cards that I've made, some tags. And because she's a nurse, I thought I would throw this one in there. And there's that little book with the 2 hearts, our family tree. And just, I left this blank so that she could fill it in herself. And the 2 hearts are sweet. Here's one book charm. And she has 3 dogs. Yes, she has 3 dogs. So, and then she had a dog that went to heaven. So she has this tattoo of the dog's foot on her wrist or something. Can't remember. So I included Penny in there. And in here there's some more just tags that, some that I've caught and some that I've made. Just some spots for her to journal on. And this I thought was so beautiful. And we have a little spot there to put those away. And this just seemed wedding-ish to me. And this pretty journaling areas. And it looks like I just put this in with some ink, and I had inked it with the distressed ink, and it looks like it kind of left its mark on my paper. So I'll have to deal with that. So this is the end, and it says, "Good night, sweetheart, good night." And that is my wedding altered book. Please like, subscribe, all the above, and watch how fat this is. She should be here any second, and I'm so glad to have finished this. Doesn't that look pretty all tied up? Oh, we just love those, don't we? We'll see you in the next one.